Alright, this is my creation that I'm working on. It's Pac-Man. I have Pac-Man, my respawn zone. These big yellow dots here, even though they look green, they're yellow. Those are my power pellets. The white dots are regular pellets, and that's one of the ghosts. So it took me a little while to figure out all this logic, but I figured I'd share it with you guys and explain it. That way, if anyone wants to use it, you can, or use it in a similar manner, just tweak it or change a couple things, but at least you'll have a basic idea of how it all works. The only other thing, let's see, on my Pac-Man, I have a tag. It's labeled Pac-Man. And on my Ghost, I have one labeled Ghost. And that will play a part, and I'll explain in a minute. So this is a power pellet. So when Pac-Man comes over and he eats the power pellet, he's going to activate this green trigger zone that's around the pellet. When he does, it starts, let me get this right. It starts the timer, the counter. And what happens with a counter, if the target value is 1, it starts at 0. So I have a hooked up to the plus, so that will change that from a 0 to a 1, so it's a 1-1. When you do that and you have the power come out, what it does is once Pac-Man's in the green zone, it will trigger this zone, which will start the counter to go up 1. Once it's 1 and I walk out of the target zone, the trigger zone will shut off because I want to keep going on the run. So all I have to do is set this signal off once. It will power the plus sign to push it up the count to 1. Doing so, the counter makes it a permanent power source. So because it's a permanent power source, it goes to my switch. It will turn on my switch. When it turns on my switch, it'll activate a keyframe, which I have in my timeline. All it does is make the power ball go invisible. It will also start a timer, and it goes to an AND gate. I have it in slot A. Alright, so like I said, this is just a keyframe animation, nothing special. But when it turns on this timer, it's going to start the timer. Start timer. I have it set for 10 seconds. It will count up to 10 seconds. Once it hits 10 seconds, the timer is finished. It sends out a signal, which is here. Now, when it counts down and it finishes the signal, it will send the signal through this wire into the NOT gate. A NOT gate outputs the opposite of what's going into it. So this wire right now is off. That is why this wire that comes out of it is on. So when this wire turns on, after it does the full timer, this one will shut off. Alright, and I'll explain why I have it set up like this. So this will be off. Now, through the AND gate, it goes around and it goes to a wireless transmitter, which I labeled power. So what you do, this is the basic. So what I want to do, my idea was when I eat the power pellet, the ghost will turn blue, just like in the video game, and it will be at the point where I can eat him and kill him. When I'm not in the trigger zone, if I don't eat this power pellet, the ghost will come after me and try to kill me. So what it does is it changes its behavior. So instead of him coming after me to kill me, once I eat the power pellet, it triggers it for 10 seconds to make him blue and for me to be able to eat him. Alright, so the transmitter transmits a signal through the scene to my ghost. This is my ghost. All right. So I'm going to start with this here. So this is the receiver part that's receiving the power signal that I have on the power pellet. When I eat the power pellet, it will send a signal and turn this on, but only for 10 seconds because I have a timer on the power pellet to only last for 10 seconds. All right, because here, so what it does is counts up to 10 and it finishes it. It will send a signal to the NOT gate, which makes this positive. And because this is positive, this will become negative. Because this is negative, this won't work. The output is only if both of these are true. So the 10 seconds that it takes for it to fill up before it sends out this signal, this wire and this wire will both be true. And because both of them are true, it outputs a true signal, which turns on the transmitter. All right. So I'll show you. At the end of this, I have a clip of the whole animation of what it all does without all this stuff being seen, play mode. So now when this gets powered, this is going to do multiple things. But while it's not powered, I want to be having the ghost chase me and try to kill me, just like in the game. They come and get you until you eat a power pellet, and then you got to go after them because they turn blue. So that's what this is going to do. So here's a NOT gate. The signal from the receiver is off. It's not outputting anything because I haven't eaten the power pellet. So it's off. Because this is off, that makes this on. So all these wires that come out of the NOT gate are on, which turns on the power for the follower. So my character will follow him. A look attack, which I labeled. So that way, it's all it is a look rotator. So that way, when he does come after me, he looks at me. Like his eyes will be facing me as he's coming after me. And the power also goes to a health modifier, which I set from minus 110 health. So that way, if the ghost comes in contact with me, he will kill me because the health modifier makes it so he's dangerous. All right. But when I eat a power pellet, it turns on the wireless receiver. Now, when I turn on the wireless receiver, I have a bunch of wires that are coming out that are all going to go true or positive. One of the things that will activate is it will turn the ghost blue, which I did on a keyframe. It will turn this true, which will shut this all off because it does the opposite. It will turn this on, which makes him flee. That makes him run away from me. It also activates this look. I have to relabel it. It's supposed to be look flee, because what that does is it makes him turn around and face his eyes away from me and run away. And it will also go through the trigger zone on the ghost, so when I'm in contact with the ghost, it will destroy it. I hope that all makes sense. So what's going to happen is when this is all wired, pretty much everything is going to get turned on, and all this here is going to get shut off. So when this is on, the ghost can kill me. When all this other stuff is on, I can kill the ghost. All right. And like I said, I will have a video afterwards showing the animation.